everyone. My name is Rahul. I'm your Filmi Baniya. And today I have a question for you. In the age of instant gratification, in the age of the pandemic, in the age of social distancing, can you imagine worlds which are unique? Can a film deliver on uniqueness if it's a science fiction, fantasy adventure? It's virtually next to impossible. So when you think of science fiction, you think of Star Wars, Star Trek, aliens, blah blah. But is it possible to have a unique experience with a Star Wars type universe, but which isn't exactly? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the film which was the inspiration for Star Wars. So George Lucas, in many of his interviews, has mentioned, the creator of Star Wars, that one of his inspiration is Dune. Dune is a novel written in 1965 by Frank Herbert about the journey of, and it's available in many volumes. I think a number of books are available. But this movie which I'm reviewing today is called Dune Part 1. Now, Dune Part 1 is directed by the legendary Denis Villeneuve. For people who don't know who is Denis Villeneuve, Denis Villeneuve has directed Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049. It's this kind of cinematic genius who brings unique vision onto the big screen. And ladies and gentlemen, this movie cannot be enjoyed on a laptop or on a television home theater. We're talking about the vision of greats like Sir David Lean, Lawrence of Arabia. You're talking about big, large, unimaginable landscapes. Talking about cameras with vast visions. We're talking about larger than life, opulent sets in the middle of a desert. Dune is also the first ever sci-fi adventure film I have seen in my life, which puts one of its tenets, it really takes reference from Islam. In fact, there is an alien creature, not giving on any spoilers, in the movie, who's basically a sandworm, a large dinosaur type of animal. It's called the Shahi Hulud. Now, Shahi Hulud is the Arabic word which means the sandworm. But Shahi Hulud was mentioned there in the book 50, 60 years ago now. Almost, I would say, 52 years ago. Now, at this time, the entire focus of writing of this entire book takes from all sorts of cultures. Let's look at the cast. There is Timothée Chalamet, who is the main protagonist, Paul Atreides. Then we have Zendaya. Then we have Rebecca Ferguson as his mother, as Paul's mother. Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho, one of his coaches. We have Oscar Isaac as Leto Atreides, who's the father of Paul. We have Stellan Skarsgård as Vladimir Harkonnen, the main villain of the movie. There is Dave Bautista, Josh Brolin. The list is endless. So there is some kind of specialty to this content, why people love this kind of stuff. So the story is that Paul, who is part of the Atreides dynasty, and his father, Leto, played by Oscar Isaac, are given the charge of Arrakis, which is a sand, totally a desert type of planet, which has this very important resource called the spice. And because of spice, you can do interstellar travel. So that's the whole vision of Herbert, that you would need the spice from sand to make spaceships work. So this is the world we're talking about. It's so exciting. And the whole story is about how he gets onto being his own man, faces severe challenges, his family's under attack, yada yada, blah blah. That's typical stuff which you see in Shakespeare-driven movies. The family is the problem, blah blah, family's under attack, saving the family. So we're not going to get into the plot and the story, but I'm going to talk about the world of Dune. So what I saw very interesting in this movie is some unique production design. And production design, I'm talking about some outstanding production design. Patrice Vernet, who has done the production design, has created some unique world experiences. Just look at this grasshopper-inspired helicopter. Don't know the exact name, you have to see the movie to find it. And that's what I leave to you. Then there are these amazing spaceships which are giant in size, and very little mention or very little usage of robots and very less usage of computer screens. And no aliens whatsoever, except one or two monsters. I mean, not exactly monsters, they are basically animals in that area. And the conflict is human to human. So the Atreides family is up against the Harkonnens. Harkonnens is the negative character. So in many ways, it's like this typical parable of, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. There is, although I won't say Pandava and Kauravas, but Pandava and the Kauravas, but I'm talking about, the good and the bad. So it's very clearly laid out. Then there is this multi-class look at this entire world, where there are these desert wanderers called the Freemans, who dress up like nomads and who live in sand in the desert, and they love the desert and they live in this place. And there are some very interesting things, like here the people have to wear still suits. These suits are there to keep you cool in the desert. So look at this production design. It's very important you appreciate the details of this movie. This is a very long movie. This is 165 minutes I'm talking about. And I think Timothy Chalamet has really done well as Paul. But I was particularly, really impressed by his relationship with Duncan Idaho, played by Jason Momoa, who's one of his guardians and people who mentor him. And so is Josh Brolin. There's obviously Javier Bardem as Stilgar, as this Fremen guy who's part of this, this gang of people who are, on the desert sand. And desert sand area of Arrakis. I think this novel, which was written in 1965, is going to open up a Pandora's box for new content in sci-fi. And I think we are in for a treat. I think Dune has multiple books coming in. The movie has already grossed $220 million worldwide in the first week itself. And not to mention, the movie is already live on HBO Max. So this is going to be a cataclysmic event, according to me. And of course, the music is by Hans Zimmer. And Villeneuve has basically taken the services of Greg Fraser, who's the cinematographer. And yes, Villeneuve has not gone with his traditional cinematographer, Sir Roger Deakins, possibly the greatest cinematographer alive. And it's adapted from the book, and now part 2 and part 3 should be on the way. But I would say watch this movie for its unique optics, unique world pleasures of looking at these humans essentially at conflict with each other. So it looks very believable. There are no interstellar beings here. It's just humans against humans fighting it out. And I think this world is very, very beautiful and mesmerizing. Listen to the music and watch it on the big screen. It's available at all leading theaters across India, wherever the movies are open. And you would love this movie. And I would give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. I would leave the 0.5 because it gets a bit long, but each and every character is just outstanding. They have their own worlds. There is attention to detail, and it looks very real as a world to believe in. And I think you should just go and watch out. Dune is a true masterpiece when it comes to cinematography, direction, writing, production design, music. It's just outstanding. Thank you for watching. I'm Rahul, your Filmi Baniya.